Alright, let's see. I already checked off the scariest nostalgic moments from my list. You know what's next on the review checklist? Seeing what made me cry. You guys probably don't notice, but I'm actually a huge baby when it comes to crying at shows, movies, and other media. The Walking Dead video game destroyed my soul. Squid Games tore me apart. Inside Out, it somehow wrung out whatever tears I had left. But what made me sad as a kid? That's what we'll go over today. Now, for nostalgic childhood media, I'm going to cut off the age for nostalgic at the age of 13 or the year 2010. So if there's something that I didn't go over on this list, either I never watched it as a kid, it didn't make it on the list, or it's just past the year cutoff. And I'll include all media, so shows, movies, internet animations, games, anything is on the table. By the way, there are spoilers ahead, and I will mark what sections you could skip to if there's a particular spoiler you don't want to hear. With that, let's get started. Just make sure you have tissues nearby. Toy Story 3 is a story about change and growing up. I think it hit me harder when I was in high school than when I first initially saw it in middle school. However, I'll still include it here. The ending is probably a bit more bittersweet than just straight up sad. However, it does tug at your heartstrings to see the status quo of the toys being with Andy end.
Woody, he's been my pal for as long as I can remember. He's brave, like a cowboy should be, and kind and smart. But the thing that makes Woody special is he'll never give up on you. Ever.
They do get to be with another child, sure, but, well, I guess this is the bitterness that comes with growing up. We have to leave some things behind, and some things will change. Man, screw adulthood.
So long, partner.
When I was a kid, I absolutely loved dinosaurs. So, of course, I adored the Land Before Time series. The first movie in the series doesn't pull any punches and can be pretty intense. One of the scenes that most kids remember from the movie for how sad it is the death of Littlefoot's mom.
Dear sweet Littlefoot, do you remember the way to the Great Valley?
I guess so. But why do I have to know you're gonna be with me?
I'll be with you. Even if you can't see me.
What do you mean if I can't see you? I can always see you. Mother? Mother?
Dead moms in media is not rare, especially with Disney movies abundant. However, this one still hits just as hard, especially after seeing Littlefoot's relationship with his mom beforehand and her sacrificing herself to save Littlefoot and Sarah from the Sharptooth.
Why did I wander so far from home?
Oh, it's not your fault. It's not your mother's fault. Now, you pay attention, old Rooter.
Yeah, but...
It is nobody's fault. The great circle of life has begun.
Next up is The Princess and the Frog, for the fact that it was the last 2D animated movie by Disney. Kidding, I'm kidding. Sort of. No, the scene that managed to wring out tears from my cold, middle school heart was the death of Ray the Firefly. Look, man, we got to know this dude throughout most of the movie, and I could tell you I was not expecting this to happen to him. Well, at least he's with Evangeline now.
We're staying frogs, Ray.
And we're staying together.
Oh, dear me. I like that very much. Evangeline liked that too.
Okay, listen, if you haven't seen There She Is, then pause the video right now and go watch it. I mean, please come back here, but go watch this. While the first 3 episodes were mostly lighthearted with some darker undertones, the societal turmoil of the situation begins to hit full force in the 4th episode. The visuals do an incredible job at punching you in the gut, from the death of the hedgehog, to Nabi seeing that Doki got hurt in a protest, and Doki's despair as she thinks that Nabi no longer wants to speak to her. It's hard to watch, but I think it's important to watch, and I'm glad I watched it as a little tyke, even if it made me sad. Say what you want about Bridge to Terabithia, but I think it has some of the best handlings of childhood grief in media. Of course, Leslie's death is sad all on its own. It comes out of left field, and you spend the whole movie getting to know her, and her and Jess being the best of friends. What makes it sadder is seeing Jess's reaction to the death.
Your friend Leslie is dead. She drowned in a creek this morning. Apparently she tried to swing across on a rope and it broke. They think she hit her head.
No, it's not that kind of rope. It couldn't break. It wouldn't have. No, you're lying. She's not even dead. You're lying. Jess!
He denies it. He gets depressed. He gets angry. He breaks down crying. When that one kid makes a joke about her death, he punches him in the face.
So, looks like you're the fastest kid in the class now, huh? It's a joke, dude.
Honestly, screw that kid. They don't sugarcoat grief, and that's what makes it equally sad and beautifully written.
It's okay, Jess. It's okay, son. It's okay.
It's all gone.
Okay, don't ask me why I was watching Elfen Lied as a kid, I just did. By the way, if you haven't watched it and are interested in seeing it, just keep in mind that there's nudity, violence, adults being disgusting towards minors, and very brutal animal cruelty. Kinda messed up, honestly. But anyway, the parts that messed me up the most were probably the dog scene. Anyone that's seen it knows what I'm talking about. I'm not showing it here because I don't want to get age restricted. And also the part where Marco and Kurama died together.
Kurama. Otosan.
Mariko.
Otosan.
I never read the Elfen Lied manga, just heard bits of it, and from what I understand of what happened with Kurama and Marco, I'm kinda glad that they had this ending in the anime. It sucks that it ended like this, with neither of them getting the happy ending of being a family, but at least Kurama, Marco, and Marco's mother could be together in the afterlife.
Mariko. お前に会ったらこれだけは言っておきたかった。お前のお母さんは最後までお前を愛していた。私たちは本当にお前を愛していた。
So, most of Marley and Me is a comedy about a dog that a couple gets that gets into trouble constantly. It slowly starts to become more of a drama until it gets to the part that made me bawl my eyes out. The part where they put down Marley.
It's okay. You don't have to do anything. You don't have your usual energy.
I don't think I need to explain much more than that. Anyone that's had a pet die knows how painful it is. It doesn't make it better that it's a fictional dog.
Remember how we were always saying what a pain you are? You're the world's worst dog. Don't believe it. Don't believe it even for a minute. As you know, we couldn't find a better dog.
The Iron Giant is another one of those movies that you should honestly watch once before you die. It is a masterpiece. And it's probably another movie that is on most people's list for what made them cry. What's so sad about a movie where a boy befriends a giant robot from another planet? Well, thanks to this mofo right here deciding that he wanted to watch the world burn today.
That missile is targeted to the giant's current position! Where's the giant, Mansley? Well,
The giant ends up sacrificing himself to save everyone in the town.
You are who you choose to be.
Superman.
Superman would be proud of you. The giant ends up being okay afterwards, but it doesn't stop the waterworks from flowing beforehand.
Hookah, you stay. I go.
Okay, those that know the story of Hachiko probably knows what happens in Hachiko, a Dog's Story. For those that don't, basically a dog's owner dies while he is away at work. The dog, Hachiko, not realizing their master is dead, ends up waiting at the train station, hoping that their master will come back, up until the day that they die. I don't think I need to explain how that movie is sad as ever living hell.
Hachi!
Before we get to number 1, here are some honorable mentions. The Fox and the Hound. All I have to say is, screw society. At least no one dies in the end, except for maybe the bear. Screw that guy anyway though. Rise of Darkrai. Honestly, I cried a bit more from Darkrai's death than Ash's death in the first Pokemon movie, though they are both fake-out deaths, so you don't have to worry about either of their well-beings. The ending of Super Paper Mario. At least Count Bleck and Tipani get to be together. Doesn't stop it from being sad though. And while I watched Courage the Cowardly Dog as a kid, I didn't see Last of the Star Makers or Remembrance of Courage Past until high school. So unfortunately these episodes are past the cutoff. With Angel Beats, I never saw the full show, and I don't even remember exactly when I saw the clips that made me cry, but without seeing the entire show, the parts that made me cry were the ending, and the one scene where, Hinata proposes to Yui. By doing so, he fulfills her greatest wish and helps her move on. I'm a bit afraid to watch the entire show if seeing these two scenes out of context made me bawl. Now for number 1, people debate on what the saddest Pixar movie is. Maybe for some, it's Inside Out, or perhaps Coco, or even Toy Story 3. For me, one of the saddest is Up. Everyone remembers the opening scene, showing Carl and Ellie's life in a montage up until her passing. Of course, this made me cry. It made a lot of people cry. But the waterworks weren't done yet. The next part that tugged on my heartstrings and still makes me cry to this day was later in the movie, when Carl looks at Ellie's adventure book. The scene is so well done, it doesn't need words. The facial expressions, message, and musical score speak for themselves without needing any sound uttered. And I think people can relate to this, whether they've lost someone close to them or not. I'm not looking forward to the day when me and my loved ones' times on Earth are done, and I'm afraid of one day being alone like Carl, but I'm happy to enjoy the adventures with them until then. Okay, everything got too real. I need to stop and go cry in a corner for an hour. If there was something that made you sad as a kid, but you didn't see it on the list, leave it in the comments down below. I'm interested to see what tore your heart out. And if you want to see more videos like this, be sure to subscribe and click the notification bell. Don't forget, my socials are in the description, including my TeePublic, Ko-fi, and Etsy if you want to support me directly. Until next time, this is Danse Macabre, signing off.